From the creators of Bunnicula and Life Noggin comes a new series where curiosity takes the stage. It's a little after 7 a.m. on an average Tuesday in Cheesetropolis. The sun is shining, birds are tweeting, and jazz is floating out of Gus's window. He's sitting at his kitchen table sipping his coffee, planning out the day's cheese acquisitions. It's going to be a busy one. Big Cheese Day is coming up soon and Gus wants to make sure he has enough supplies. Suddenly, the floorboards above him creak. Something or someone is scampering around up there. And that someone is none other than Midnight, the sleek black cat who spends her days sleeping, eating, and trying to catch mice. And she can hear Gus. The mere sound of squeaking cheese sends her into a frenzy. She must get to that deliciousness. But there's one tiny problem. This apartment belongs to Gus. And Gus, despite being a mouse, is not afraid of cats. In fact, he's quite fond of this one. You see, they have an agreement. Gus lets Midnight stay in his apartment in exchange for protecting him from the other cats in the building. So when Midnight shows up in Gus's kitchen, tail held high, demanding food, Gus knows what to do. He hands over a chunk of cheddar without complaint. After all, this arrangement has worked well for both of them so far. But today, things are different. Today, Midnight isn't just hungry. She's desperate. When she goes to laze in her favorite sunny spot on the windowsill, she finds herself suddenly hungry. Like she could eat a whole wheel of cheese, hungry. What's going on? Why does she want cheese so badly? Meanwhile, Gus has started his day of cheesing. First stop, the corner store. Gus slips in right before the owner opens up. And begins gathering all the day's old stock, throwing stale crackers, popcorn and cheese into his bag. A little birdie told me it was gonna be a good haul today. Ha ha. He dances down the street, nearly tripping over his own feet. As Gus makes his way through the city, we see more of Cheesetropolis. There are parks with mice playing baseball, holes in the wall where cats nap, and buildings made entirely out of cheese. Welcome to Cheesetropolis, where mice and cats live together in harmony, mostly because they don't really acknowledge each other's existence. I mean, sure, there are a few exceptions. Old Tom, the alley cat, despises all mice equally, while Rosie the mouse harbors a special hatred for all ginger cats. But Gus and Midnight's unique living arrangement continues to be the talk of the town. Everyone either gossips about the mouse who lives with a cat or shakes their head in disapproval at their interspecies friendship. But they're too busy to care. Gus has found his latest cheesy treasure, a huge block of Parmesan left outside by mistake. Perfect for grating into shavings, he says. And then he hears it. Someone or something is scampering away from the cheese. And just as Gus turns to investigate, a loud crash makes him jump. A ginger cat has appeared, hissing and spitting at him. Oh, no, Rosie's brother, Butch. Gus has never liked him. Butch is everything Gus isn't, loud, brash, unfriendly, and to top it all off, he has a sick obsession with chasing Gus. Butch lunges at Gus, but our hero is quick and nimble and dodges out of the way. Their game of cat and mouse ensues, taking them through the bustling marketplace, over streams of melting cheese, under tables stacked with fruit, and finally to an old water tower. Butch thinks he's got Gus trapped. Finally, he can end this annoying game once and for all. But Gus has other plans. He jumps onto Butch's head, startling the ginger cat so much that he runs off, knocking over the nearby ladder in the process. Oops. The fall knocks the wind out of Gus, and he lands right next to a hole in the ground. It's too dark for him to see anything, and he's too dazed to realize he's fallen into another one of Butch's traps. It's actually a cave, and Butch appears at the entrance, blocking the only exit. Gus is trapped. So when Midnight arrives at the scene, all she sees is a huge ginger cat blocking the hole with a tiny mouse peeking out from behind him. Any normal cat would have caught the mouse already. Midnight is starting to think Butch might not be so normal. Actually, that's probably for the best. She doesn't want a stupid argument to break out between them. That would ruin her apartment. She leaps toward Butch, claws extended, and swats him across the face. He lets out a yowl and runs off. See? Not so tough after all. Now she can get to the important thing, getting rid of that pesky mouse. Midnight approaches the hole and calls out to Gus, demanding that he come out with his hands up. But instead of doing as he's told, Gus taunts her. He tells her she's a fraud, a failure of a cat who can't even catch mice. She's not like the other cats in the building who spend all day napping. She's worse because she pretends to work hard but still ends up with nothing. Midnight is furious. Finally, she's had it with this mouse and his endless chatter. Midnight prepares to pounce. This time she won't miss. But as she leaps toward the hole, she realizes she doesn't want to hurt Gus. He's actually been a good friend to her. And secretly, she's not that great at catching mice anyway. She hangs upside down from the hole, telling Gus he can't escape. Then she lets go and drops to the ground, pretending she's still mad. Gus peeks out of the hole again, and she gives him a playful shove. Together they trudge back to Gus's apartment, two unlikely friends making their way home through the winding tunnels under Cheesetropolis. They might be an odd pair, a mouse and a cat, but they've taught everyone in Cheesetropolis that sometimes your rivals can become your best friends and sometimes the best friends are the ones you least expect. But that doesn't mean they won't stick up for each other when times get tough. Like when Butch shows up at Gus's apartment to finish what he started, only to find Midnight blocking the door. Gus sneaks past the ginger cat and scurries up the curtains. Soon he's up high enough to watch the show. Butch lunges for Midnight, but she easily dodges his swipe and retaliates with a kick to the face. Butch stumbles backward, tripping over a chair in the process. Midnight pounces on him, pinning him to the floor. She holds him there until Gus gets bored and starts dropping flower petals on his head. When Butch finally breaks free, he flees, giving up the fight. See, Midnight's tougher than she looks. As the sun sets over Cheesetropolis, Gus and Midnight settle in for another cozy night. They've survived another day in a city full of cheese, danger and wacky characters. And as long as they have each other, they know they can handle whatever comes their way. Next. Will Gus and Midnight help out a baby bird who fell out of its nest? Will they be able to save the town of Cheesetropolis from a giant garbage disposal? Or will they finally find out who has been stealing all of their food? Find out next time on Life Noggin.